this, and then we go to meetings, with the high-level people, and we say, these are the things that we want you to put into your government policy and programs. Yes, your agenda.
他就说给大家发的这个呢是很重要的，是他们起草的一个 statement， 就是一个陈述的一个议程吧。然后他们会就是拿着这一张材料呢，然后去跟各国的高层领导跟他们谈话，就是说希望他们能够把这个呢放入到他们国家的这个什么政策。
Okay, so here's the Psychology Coalition that I told you about, and all the different organizations, the psychology organizations that belong. And so we need to get Dr. Deng involved.
这就是刚才他讲的这心理学联盟会，然后呢，这就是现在呢，在美国的世界的一些心理学组织已经加入那个心理学联盟，所以他刚才就说希望我们的 IAS、MSP 也加入这个心理学联盟。
Okay, good.
Yes, and these are the rooms, for example, at the UN.
这些是在联合国我们开会的一些会议室。
Okay, these are kinds of issues that we talk about: climate change, global health. But I'm going to show you a video now that will give you a better idea of all the kinds of things that happen, so that you can see the issues that we discuss and the people from all over the world that come and talk at meetings like this with the government officials, so that we can promote psychology, counseling, and sexual health at the UN.
那这些是我们在联合国谈到的一些话题，比如说那个这个环境变化。那下面我要给大家放一张就是电影，这个电影讲述在各个国家我们怎么和各个高层领导就是讨论这些问题。
I think that's Charlie's dog.
Shelly 的狗。
Charlie's dog.
Shelly 你还养狗啊？
是在这里。
Okay.
How do it sound?
Poverty eradication, gender equality.
So you might want to say some things in Chinese about what we're seeing.
Global agenda at the United Nations to address psychology's contribution to these issues.
这个就是他们在这个心理学日里面会讨论各种各样的全球面临的问题。
Private sector, students and youth and others to exchange ideas, establish partnerships, and advance advocacy activities of psychologists at the UN and around the world.
It is vitally important for our colleagues within psychology to know that we have a voice within the UN family in an advisory role to ECOSOC and in relationship to DPI. It is also crucial for the UN to know the vital role psychology.
She's talking about how important it is for the UN to know about what psychologists and counselors do at the UN.
Represent UN agencies and initiatives.
心理学家们就是在这个会议里面就讨论心理学的重要性各种各样的问题。
And these are people also who come to speak, who come from the staff of the UN, because we want to be able to hear from them and have them hear from us.
这个就是联合国的官员同时也会参与这个会议发表他们的。
South Africa looking at the effects of political violence.
So they're talking about problems all over the world. They're talking about problems in South Africa, in Thailand, in Nepal, in South America, everywhere. And the people who speak come from all different cultures. They come from Africa and Ireland and Asia, just to get the sense of really how global the psychological issues are.
Disasters.
And this part is about disaster.
这个是关于全球灾难的。之前就是各国的代表来这边演讲。
Now I'm going to be talking I'm talking about Haiti. I had just come back from Haiti right after her.
那就带声音的，那个可以带声音，那可以打带的。
This is about the problems of the orphans. You can see that they have done so many amputations of the children right after the earthquake because they had no medical services. So all they were doing was just amputating limbs.
刚才是一个截肢手术。
non-governmental organizations and the traditional leaders and healers. Negotiation was the topic of another.
He's talking about appreciation and how important that is to negotiation.
他在讲欣赏的重要性和互相合作商议的重要性。
Eradicating poverty is UN Millennium Development Goal #1, the topic of UN.
Now this is about poverty and the importance of getting rid of poverty around the world.
贫穷如何消除贫穷？
He's talking about the family, and there are committees, for example, about the health of the family.
这位女士主要就在讲家庭健康这个问题。
This is my camp in Africa that I'm going to show you a video about. This is about empowerment, and there's me talking to the Secretary General about psychology and the importance.
的话，我们还会放一个在非洲的营地里面
Psychology Day
的一个
addressed
项目。
psychologists' contributions to the science and technology education for girls.
So we're talking about the education of girls about science. These girls in high school built a boat. So this is about gender equality for girls.
是女性平等、女性教育、科学教育。
And this is about trafficking, which is a major issue, as you know, in Asia and in many, even in America, we have the trafficking problem.
人口走私。
And he's talking about aging. There's one of the reports about aging in our book here.
还有老龄化，聚焦老龄化的问题。
She's talking about domestic workers, maids who don't have the rights and are abused.
他在讲一些国内的工作，就是那种说。
And he's talking about decent work, about how important it is for people to have good employment and pay.
如何提高职员的收入啊等等啊。
Partnerships and psychosocial projects and global initiatives with UN agencies and others are described.
This is about partnerships that I told you was one of the Millennium Development Goals.
伙伴合作关系，发展合作伙伴。
Recommendations result from the sessions.
He's talking about the importance of being culturally sensitive when you're working in a different country, to understand about the culture.
在不同国家工作，要对当地的文化具有敏感性。
And this is showing the students and how important it is to get the young people involved.
这些都是学生在主任提发言。
Psychology Day at the UN is sponsored by the many psychology-related.
So now this is about how one day a year, in April or March, we have what's called Psychology Day, where all this big meetings happen about where we have everybody come together with hundreds and hundreds of people to talk about psychology.
心理学日每年的3月或者4月就会在联合国举行。
Calling for action against trafficking and against all forms of violence against
This is about
this year's
preventing violence against women, which is a very major issue at the UN.
如何防止对于女性的那种暴力，这是一个非常大的一个课题。
So our last meeting was about against violence against women.
上一次的会议是就是如何抵抗暴力啊，如何保护妇女权利之类的。
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So, do you have thoughts about how this relates to what your work is, or what you're thinking? Just some reactions to what you heard.
那么看完了这个视频之后，大家有什么看法吗？你们对如何合作发展有没有什么建议意见？就是大家可以讨论一下。
What are your thoughts? What did you think about while I was showing you this?
因为在座的各位对国内的情况肯定都比较了解嘛。那比如说你们手上有什么正在做的项目啊，或者说脑子里有什么
就是说你们在国内的关于心理学这方面的有关的项目，有没有什么需要和联合国这个项目合作的，大家都可以提出来，可以做一做。
如果是相关的话，智利博士非常欢迎大家。
把那5个主题再说一遍。
把5个主题再说一遍。
再把那个。
就是这个。
So, what are your thoughts?
中国有市场，联合国可以争取的经费，这是一个很好的东西。
对。
Okay. Are we able to get some fund if we have some like good ideas about certain projects?
There's no, the UN doesn't fund, the NGOs are called non-governmental organizations. They don't really give out any money or fund organizations to do it. Everybody works volunteer. I do all the work volunteer. So all the organizations do whatever they
Let me
do.
add it, but you get your name recognized that you were doing something. 我再补充一下，在美国呢，就是这样的。如果你成功，事业很大，那么你要回馈社会的怎么样呢？比如一个做律师的，他回馈社会，他就到那个穷人的地方，他律师一个钟头，比如200块、300块，他到个穷人的地方1块钱都不要，就是贡献给社会，回馈社会。因为这个观念呢，在中国还是不流行，在美国很流行。比如那个盖茨那个 Michael Window， 他有这么多钱，你说他享受吗？他不要，他放在70%回馈给社会，救那个穷人。所以这个心态方面同我们中国不同。So what I said is that we have bonus system. When we successful, we want to donate something back to the society.
Right.
That's why what they would call a lack of an organization, they donate them. You know, because you see you're famous and you don't need the money.
Right.
You just want to do something right.
Right.
And
Exactly.
in your life, you can understand
Right.
what is a life about, what is all meaningful.
Hi. That's really wonderful. Exactly. And I think, it's important for all the work that you're all doing to be recognized by the Chinese, by the ambassadors and the mission at the UN. I mean, the mission at the UN is separate from the Chinese government, but they talk together. I mean, I know that Dr. Deng, has connections to the Chinese government, but, the mission at the United Nations communicates to the government and they all communicate back and forth. So it's important to have a voice there. So there are things that you can contribute, and that's a beautiful attitude. Oh, you want to
他刚刚就是讲，我刚刚问他就是说，如果我们要是中国想做什么项目，联合国会有赞助，他是没有赞助，所有在联合国的工作都是自愿，就是志愿者，都是对。但是呢，就是说他觉得我们作为这个公民的话，应该觉得我们有一个 voice， 有一个声音，我们就是怎么想的，应该在就是说联合国有一个就是说代表。
Yeah, so this was, I think, this was said very well and perfectly expressed in terms of like what is the gain for the group here.
他就刚刚表扬这个 Peter 林博士他说的很好，因为这个就说跟联合国合作的不仅仅是就是这个经济利益方面，是因为他谈到就说我们怎么让回归社会贡献社会。
把那5个主题。
5个主题我给大家再念一下吧。第一个是消除贫困，他 看不清楚。
灯
第一个是就是第二个就是平等，那大家要记录下来吗？
Okay, so now,
They want to know what the 8 goals.
关一下灯。
oh, we can send that to you. You don't have to write it down. Right, okay.
这样很快念一下吧。第一是消除贫困，第二个是平等教育，第三是男女平等。
男女平等，
这是什么？
父权，这是
维护
女权，
女性
女性维权就是 OK， 减少儿童死亡。
第三，
心理健康
第四个是什么？
健康。
减少儿童死亡。
第四个是减少儿童死亡。
什么疟疾？就是疾病吧？
疾病
什么？
环境。
最后一个是
最后一个是发展
伙伴关系。
Okay, now there's another goal, and that is that these are the 8 goals, but actually there's what we call cross-cutting goal. I don't know how you say that in Chinese, but that means that there are several issues that go across all of these, even though it's not listed here. And one of them has to do with with aging, and another one has to do with disaster recovery.
虽然